Good morning, geometry. We're going to do the law of cosines today. Okay, yesterday we talked about the law of sines, and the law of sines tells us that there is a relationship between the sine of an angle in any triangle and its opposite side, okay, and the sine of another angle in the same triangle and its opposite side. So remember, if I knew some angles and sides, then I could do sine of A over A equals sine of B over B, okay? In this case, though, I don't have two angles to work with. So I can't set up a proportion because I'm given one angle to find and all three sides of this triangle. So I have to decide what I'm going to do, and I can't use the law of sines. So we're going to use the law of cosines. Now, if we were in class, we would actually prove this. We would go through a whole process of proving this. We would draw a couple altitudes in here. We would write some proportions. We'd make a system of equations. We'd put them together. We'd do some Pythagorean theorem. However, we're on video, home with Corona pandemic distance learning time, so we're just going to go for it, okay? I'm just going to teach it to you. On the page that you'll see that there are three versions of the law of cosines. One that starts with a squared, one that starts with b squared, and one that starts with c squared. But really, it's just the same thing each time, and it works like this. So, if you have an angle given or asked for, it doesn't matter, then we're going to focus on that angle, and that side is where we begin. So if angle A is over here, then side A is opposite it. So I'm going to put that right outside here. I'm going to focus on the angle I'm given and its opposite side, and that's the side I'm going to put right here. So this is the side opposite the angle either that you're given or that you want to find. So that side squared equals the other two sides squared, right? So I've got b squared and c squared. It doesn't matter which one. So the side opposite the angle squared equals one of the other sides squared plus the third side squared, okay? And then this minus 2 times these two sides, right? These two sides that are not opposite the angle times each other, all times the cosine of the angle that we're given or that we're looking for, okay? So the side opposite the angle squared equals the second side squared plus the third side squared minus 2 times the second side times the third side, all times the cosine of that angle. And let's take a look here at what we've got. So I plugged this in, and let me see if I can do this without making too much shadow. I might have to get down lower. Here we go. So I plugged in 15, which is the side opposite the angle. 15 squared equals one of the other sides squared plus the third side squared minus 2 times the second side times the third side times the cosine of the angle, which is cosine x, okay? So let's see, 225 equals 244. I just multiplied these out and added them together, right? 100 plus 144 minus 240, which is 2 times 10 times 12. 10 times 12 is 120, times 2 is 240, times the cosine of x. I subtracted 224 from both sides. I'm looking for this right here. So I'm going to divide by negative 240, divide by negative 240. So I find out that negative 19 over negative 240 equals the cosine of x right here. And then hopefully you've been paying attention to, sorry, to stand back up. Hopefully you've been paying attention to how to find the angle if we know that we know it's cosine, right? The cosine of this angle equals this value. Then the inverse cosine right here, cosine of -1, cosine to the -1, which is the inverse cosine of this whole fraction, gives me the angle value. I can just put that in my calculator, and indeed I did, and I found out that this angle right here, and I mean, I made up this triangle, but this is pretty reasonable. I didn't get a 12-degree angle. This is probably pretty reasonable, is 85.5 degrees. Okay? So again, you're looking at the side across from the angle squared equals the second side squared plus the third side squared minus 2 times the second side times the third side times the cosine of that angle. You would see this as b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ab cosine b if I relabeled this, okay? Or c squared equals. And those are the formulas that you see. Of course, on the page, they're not even A, B, and C. They're like S, P, and Q or something. So it does not matter what the letters are. It matters where the side lengths and the angle is, and that's how you ground yourself, okay? Please reach out if you have any questions. This is the law of cosines. And with this, we are officially done with trigonometry for the year. Have a great day.